Oh god.
Oh, I don't know how I saved that.
Alright guys, in today's video we're going to be comparing my current setup, which is about a $300 Drift Simulator setup, to what I just got that I haven't even played with yet, which is a $1,700 Drift Simulator. Now I already did an unboxing video and I kind of showed the drastic differences in quality between the two. This video is strictly going to be a test, so I want to compare the two, feel for feel. So I'm gonna drift with my current setup and just kind of give you guys my points of frustration. You'll be able to see kind of like what I'm dealing with the force feedback not being responsive enough or fast enough, having to chuck the wheel on transitions and whatnot. We'll do the same thing when I get the new setup set up, which I'm gonna put on this for now. I'm gonna be building a new rig for it, but for now we're gonna put it on this current rig that I have just because I really want to play it. I'm so tired of this setup. I'm so excited to play the new one. Give me my opinions on that and do like a side-by-side. So this is really just to show whether or not the difference between a $300 simulator and a $1,700 simulator is worth it. Obviously it's all going to depend on personal preference, but we'll get there when we get there. So first off, the G27. Let's see what my thoughts are on this. So I've been playing with this setup for a while, pretty much the entire time. Oh, I need to take my shoes off. So pretty much the entire time I've had a Drift Simulator, this is the only one I've ever had. So I'm definitely very experienced with it, but I definitely still have a lot of frustrations with it. So to see how I have to kind of like, alright, hold on. So the first problem is with the throttle. It's pretty much like, if I try to pedal it, I'm pretty much completely off throttle. And then if I try to give it any more, I'm pretty much full throttle. There's not a good range because there's not a lot of throw on the pedal. And then when it comes to transitions, which this is like one of the easiest tracks that I'll ever play on and stuff. When it comes to the transitions, I have to like kind of chuck the wheel like that. Otherwise, the car will just spin out because it doesn't spin the wheel fast enough. So it makes it quite difficult. I still can never get that line right with this steering wheel. Actually doing kind of well today. So there's too much throttle and I had to back out, and then the brake is like just 100% linear, there's no feel to it. So I'll go to left foot brake and I can't really tell when it's starting to lock or anything like that. Alright, I got the side-by-side comparison filmed. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and swap all the Fanatec stuff, which is like there and down there, onto the sim, and then try that out, give you my first thoughts, and then we'll do like a side-by-side comparison video. I'm going to go ahead and get the whole new setup switched over and set back up. Ta-da! It's all together. It's like a month later, actually. We'll get to that in a second. So you may notice there's a slight change of scenery. Well, it's because there is. So we are in a new room, same house, new room. Let me explain why. So about a year ago, we had one of our roommates move out. We had 4 roommates at the time, and one of them moved out, and we were trying to find a 4th again, and we were like, man, this is gonna be too much hassle. Having 4 people in one house is like just over the limit. 3's pretty solid, 4 just kind of turns into a mess. Nobody holds themselves accountable, yada yada. So we decided to just all split the difference of it being 3 of us instead of 4 of us, and I was like, hey, I'll pay even extra to take this extra room, because it's just going to be sitting empty otherwise, and then I can use that as my office because I had everything crammed in one small room at a time. So now that the roommate that lived in this room moved out, we need to find somebody for the smaller room. So now I'm paying the same amount. I just have all my stuff in one room instead of in 2 rooms. I didn't know if this was going to be an upgrade or a downgrade, but I'm super hyped on it. It's really nice to have everything kind of spread out and organized in one room. I really enjoy it. I also have my own bathroom, which I get to make sure stays clean because it's only mine and nobody else can mess it up. And it's all nice and clean. I like it a lot. So yeah, enough on the room situation. Figured I'd show you guys that since you would wonder. back to the drift sim. So this is the same rig we had before, same frame and everything, just all the new Fanatec hardware on it. It's just kind of thrown on there at the moment. The pedals are just sitting down there. They're not like bolted down to anything. They're just slid up against the back. They don't really move because they have nice rubber pads. This is bolted through the wood. So is the handbrake and shifter. They're all in the same spot. This is really high. We definitely have the same problems that we had with the other one, except this wheelbase is a little bit bigger, so it's a little bit higher. So you can see it's like 3/4 of the way up the screen, which isn't too much of a problem unless my hand gets like up here when I'm drifting, then I can't really see. Other than that, all the same. So basically there's no outside factors other than the hardware change. Alright, first off, why I need to fix this. This is my view. Alright, so we're into a bit of a problem. I was deleting a bunch of stuff on my computer and I accidentally deleted my game data folder and everything with all the layouts I had on it, which were the ones I was playing. Ben sent me his data folder, but as you can see, let me grab this. He has a lot of tracks and I have not been able to figure out the ones that I played on in the other video. So we're gonna do Mihan because if you guys know drifting, you should know Mihan. So we'll do a side-by-side comparison of Assetto Corsa, but we can't do a side-by-side comparison of this because I don't know where the tracks went or what they are. Ben doesn't have the best naming system, which I didn't either, but I only saved like 3 tracks. So anyway, we're gonna drive Mihan. I'll give you guys like my impressions of the wheel, blah blah blah, side-by-side comparison, then tandems. All right, cool. I waited a while to make this video because out of the box, this did not perform quite as expected. I could kind of relate it to like a standalone ECU for your car. Like if you plug it in place with your stock ECU, it is not going to do as well as a stock ECU. But once you get it tuned properly, the capabilities are so much greater than a stock ECU. And that's kind of what this is. If you just open it up out of the box and set it up, it's probably not going to be what you're expecting. You do have to fiddle with it. Let me show you how you fiddle with it. But you go in here and you can cycle through all your different settings. So like force feedback I have set at 100, SHO, don't know what that is, don't remember, ABS, etc. One of the big ones is like spin rate, I think is what that is, and I have it set at 120. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and post these right here, all these settings. These will work for a Fanatec CSL Elite, I believe, and definitely the V2 wheelbase or the V2.5 like I have. Ben found them online from somebody else who played with for speed, and I found them to be like by far as close as I can get this set up to where I want. So yeah, it's a good starting point for you at least. You can make some changes. I made some changes on the settings that I got from Ben, and I've got it like, this is like as close to real life as I've ever been in a simulator that I've played in general. So a big thing for me is obviously the force feedback's better, and you would think like, what does that really affect? Well, it affects a lot of things, like not only just the wheel counter steering like you would have it do in a normal drift car like this, but it also, I can feel if I turn in too far, when I start to understeer, I can feel that like grip change, so the wheel gets a little bit lighter and things like that. Like there's major differences like that that completely change the feel of what you're doing and all the inputs, and gives you back feedback like a car does, which is what's so hard for someone like me going from drifting a real car to a simulator, because you're so used to, you know, feeling the car get sideways and weightless when you pull the handbrake and all of this, whereas now you have to just react visually to what's going on around you. But with the better force feedback, you can really feel what the car is doing. I've actually been able to like change my car setup itself. Before, I could not really ever tell the difference between people's setups unless there was like a major difference, and now I was able to dial in my own setup. The shifter is really nice. It's nice to feel like you're actually throwing a gear, not like dangling a little piece of plastic. Handbrake is much better and much more better than mine than I expected. It's just got like a really nice positive feel to it. It's a hard pull. It's linear, like I said, so you can pull like a little bit and kind of slow down and then lock it and things like that. So the handbrake feels really good. I like that, and the pedals are a drastic improvement. Left foot braking, I've got you can adjust the force on the brake pedal, and since it is force based, not like a normal pedal, like with a potentiometer, the more you press it, the more force is like applied to the brakes in the car, whereas in real life, it's the harder you press it. because you know you're pressing it further, but you're really just adding force. So that's what this does. You know, you press it a little bit and kind of like let off with pressure, and then it's almost like you're not pressing at all, but you have to push the pressure down like you would in a real car to get the brakes to work right. And that is really awesome for left foot braking, because that is a single-handed biggest thing I've learned from this simulator is left foot braking, and taking that and applying it to real life. You know, I don't have to just barely touch the brake pedal in this game. I can press it hard like I would in my real car in real life, and then that way when I get into my real car and go to drive like this and go to left foot brake, it translates over. It's not the concept's there, but the actual act is different. Another big one is the throttle actually having a good range of play, because when you drift in real life, you know that you do a lot of your steering with the throttle and not so much with the steering wheel. So when you have a throttle, it's basically an on-off switch. It's hard to control your drift fluently, whereas when you have a throttle you can actually modulate, it's a lot easier to keep the car like where you want it to be in terms of angle and things like that. Too much. Ooh, 2 dead tires. Let's reset here. Alright, I'm going to stop talking for a second. We're just going to do a lap around Mihan, and I want to see what you guys think of the difference in this simulator compared to the G27 setup. Do another lap just for fun. See if we can throw it back to the century. Probably not. I'm not very good at it on this layout. Overcooked it. Alright, we're going to move to a more challenging track. Just to show you guys like upshifts, downshifts, left foot braking, and e-braking, all that stuff. I was never able to link this one on the G27. It was when I started to get really frustrated with it. I remember playing this track like it was the Tandem lobby 2 nights in a row had this track, and I could not link it to save my life. I remember getting so frustrated. So this part's pretty easy. You gotta go up to third here. Oh, I'm sloppy. Too much angle. So I'm out. Left foot brake a little bit. And then this part's not too bad, but if you overcook it and hit that wall, or undercook it, hit that barrier, or that barrier, like it's kind of like threading the needle. So then you come through here and this is where it gets difficult. You gotta transition in this little narrow section here, and then throw it into fourth, which the car doesn't really have enough power to do, and try to hold it through here, down to third, have a handbrake, down to second. Okay, I guess doesn't look that difficult because I was actually able to do it, but I tell you, probably 40 laps were done around this course with my old setup, and I crashed every single one and got very frustrated. Oh, that was terrible. Oh, that was terrible. Pretty much lost drift there. Yeah, this part here is hard because if you tap that wall, it's bad news. If you tap this wall, it's bad news, but you have to go so fast to make it. Oh, it didn't get sucked in. Oh, another tap. Another tap. Oh. Okay, that was awful. That was an awful run. That's what we're gonna do now. Is we're gonna do like a side-by-side video comparison of this sim rig. So this $1,700 sim rig versus a $300 G27 sim rig in a set of Corsa, since I can't do it on here because I can't find the tracks. And this is gonna be same car, same track, same everything, just different simulators themselves. And we'll see what you think, see if there's a discernible difference or not.
Ryan, let's
play. Okay, wow, that's so bad. All right, guys, so now I want to know what you think. You just saw them compared side by side. Did they look incredibly different? Did they look about the same? You know, how was it? Because I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know how different they physically look, but I can tell you they feel drastically different. You know, just being able to go into a corner like this and let go of the wheel like you would in a real car and it transition as it should, and not have to chuck the wheel each time like you don't really have to in any car just about. So do I think it's worth the price? I personally do. For somebody like me who wants to increase their drifting skills, who's super passionate about drifting and eats, sleeps, breathes it, I think it was totally worth the extra cost to have a setup like this. For somebody who just wants to play around with some racing games for fun, you know, it may not be worth the cost. You may only play it for a week and then never play it again. You know, you may never get too serious with it, but for me, I think it's completely invaluable to have this setup, even though it does cost quite a bit more, because what I'm learning off of it is so much better than what I'm learning off of like a lower end setup. The feel is so much better, and there's so much to be gained from this kind of setup. So I definitely think it was worth it. Is it pricey? Absolutely. But if you compare it to the cost of going to tons and tons and tons of drift events and wrecking your car into people, because that's what we do every night on here. We push the boundaries and bash into each other, and we learn where going too far is, and we learn, you know, I learn how much left foot brakes too much and is gonna make me lock up and smash into somebody. I learn when to transition to get back on them, you know, how little I can back off to let them transition to where I don't hit them. And all of that stuff to me is worth the cost of this, because it's a lot cheaper to do it on here and learn and make the mistakes on here than it is in real life. So now we're gonna do some fun. Let's do some tandems. I don't really ever play solo on here. I pretty much always just hop on tandem on Lift for Speed. I don't play Assetto that much. I'll put my Assetto gamer tag thing below if I can find it. And Lift for Speed, I'm usually on late. I gotta edit. You know, I work all day, then I gotta edit, work on cars and stuff. So I normally don't get on until like midnight at least, East Coast time. So yeah, let's go tandem. Let's find someone to tandem with. All right, so now it's time for tandems. We're gonna be tandeming with Ben. He is the person I play with the absolute most on Lift for Speed. He's the person who got me like as far into it as I am now. He's a really good person to practice with because he's a lot better than me, so he really pushes me to get better. You know, he'll be right on my door through the whole track, so I'm like, I need to be on his door through the whole track, and if he can throw fourth gear there and we're in the same car with the same setup, I should be able to too. So it's definitely helped me progress a lot as a driver, not only in the sim, but by taking this stuff to real life, and it really does transfer over. So we're gonna start with me following Ben, and we'll be in my car, and then we'll switch and we'll be in his car with him following me. Yeah, okay. That's probably what's gonna happen. Ben, I've been trying to record this. We have driven worse than we ever do. So,
well, speak for yourself.
These are probably not gonna be our best tandems, but you guys will get the idea. So I've been practicing a bunch of different stuff when playing this game with Ben, like crashing, like I did just now. But also, how to cut line, kind of like that, like run an inside line since he's ahead of me, and shallow angle to catch up to him, and then boop, right back on him. Left foot braking, which I'm doing right now, which is very important and crucial. Close in tandem and not it being like super sketchy and jerky, like it would be if you were like doing the whole like gas, e-brake thing. So I would definitely say left foot braking is the biggest thing I've learned, but I've also learned how to like get out of the way for transition, unlike I did with Marco. So I can either like let myself hang back or like add angle like that, or just hold my angle out a little bit longer than him so that it'll allow him to come through. Other ways, like right now, we're really close, and then once we get to the point where he's going to transition, I'll just get harder on the left foot brake like that. That allows me to pull behind him. But like right now, we're going to try to transition just a little bit before him like that, so we can stay right up on him. Get behind him again there. Dab an e-brake to settle the car. And then back on the left foot brake, hold out angle there to let him transition. I'm just basically practicing all of those things, as they combined are what make for the ability to follow close without hitting somebody. All right, so now Ben's gonna follow me, and I'll explain kind of what I'm trying to do as a lead driver to give him a good line to follow. So number one, I'm not gonna run away from him out of the gate. Sometimes you'll play with people on here or in real life, and they'll just like take off unexpectedly, and then you're playing catch up the whole time. So I like to wait till he's right behind me, and then take off. So my goal as a lead driver is to run just mainly a consistent line, like run the same line every time, so that way he knows where I'm gonna go. I'm not putting the car in a different place and transitioning at a different time every lap, like I kind of am doing now. Also to not e-brake and foot brake into corners that much, because that'll kind of like brake check him and make it hard for him to stay and drift behind me. Nice smooth transition, wide line, so he can run the inside and follow me well, like that. It's basically just being a courteous lead driver to make his life a little easier as a follow driver, since we're not competing with each other. I'm kind of a terrible lead driver though. Sometimes I have it figured out. But I've done like a different line every lap so far. Oh god. Oh, I don't know how I saved that. Oh my gosh. That was like deep into the wall. Alright, we're good.
What the
the thing hit you in the back and punted you into the wall.
See what you do? So much destruction.
Alright, that's one tap. Need to get you in that one. See, this is something I need to practice better, is my tapping skill, because I'm still so like mentally trained to like avoid the contact at all costs that like I like beginning and like hold e-brake too long or left foot brake too much, and then when I'm like, okay, we're set up, I can go for the tap, I'm like, I can't catch up. But like right there, we got it. Try to tap him on every transition. There's 2, 3. No, I have to hit you. I messed up. I thought I hit you and I like backed off, but I hadn't hit you yet. Well, if we got him there. That was a rub for sure. Oh, that would be a hard one to get you on. We should try to pass each other every turn.
I'm sure that's gonna work well.
Okay. Alright, there you are. Alright, so now I'll pass you on this one.
I was not expecting that. I was like waiting so long for that to happen. This is so stupid.
It's so good, dude. This is like the next level of drifting. Passing each other every corner. I'll go wide on this next one. Oh,
Or
okay.
just crash.
Okay, I got no. We're good. We're good. Go, 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 go. I kind of saved it. Like I straightened, but I kind of saved it. Oh, I'm supposed to pass you. Oh, this
I
next
didn't
one.
say that was a corner.
This is so good. It's so silly, but it's so good. So yeah, this is pretty much what me and Ben do into the wee hours of the morning. Because I have to wait till I'm done with everything to hop on here and play. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know if you guys liked this particular type of video, like Drift Simulator videos and such. Let me know what you think of the new setup. And huge shout out to Ben for recording some of this for me and always being fun to tandem with. Don't forget to check out his channel, link below. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Say bye, Ben.
Bye.